Hello, everyone. My name is Danny, and this review is going to be for the movie called A Kid Like Jake. This is a 2018 film. It is directed by Silas Howard. It stars Claire Danes, Jim Parsons, Octavia Spencer, Priyanka Chopra, and Ann Dowd. It runs an hour and a half, and the storyline is Brooklyn parents Alex and Greg are lucky to have a kid like Jake. Their 4-year-old is bright, precocious, creative, and just happens to prefer Disney princesses to toy cars and skirts to jeans. Jake's gender expansive behavior, as local preschool director Judy dubs it, is no big deal to Alex and Greg, or so it seems, until the process of navigating New York City's hyper-competitive private school system opens up a parental quagmire. Could Jake's gender nonconformity be just the thing that gives their child an edge in the admissions game? How young is too young to put a label on a child's identity? Is this just a phase, or is Jake truly transgender? Split in their opinions on how to handle the situation, Alex and Greg find themselves navigating an emotional and ethical minefield, with one patch of common ground between them: their fierce desire to do what's right for Jake. Transparent director Silas Howard helms this timely, honest, emotionally rich look at 21st century parenting. Well, the first thing to say is that this is an IFC film, which means it's independent. It's going to hit smaller markets. If it gets released to DVD whatsoever, not many people are going to see it or hear about it. But this movie has, at least 3 stars in it. Probably four, five, six people that you would know. I'd say it's about six. And so it's up there in like people knowing about it because of all the people in it, to be honest. So the first thing I'd like to talk about, just as a negative, is everybody is so much stress in this movie. They're either so intelligent that they don't really argue, or they're so upper class, kind of private school looking parents that they talk in a way that normal people will never understand. And so it's a very different movie. I think it's for a certain audience, and not everybody's going to get something out of this movie. It's just so overblown. It's like it's so dramatic and like over dramatic. It's just too much at some points. And the way they talk and the way they're trying to handle these things, and they're trying to use their son's weirdness to try and get into a school, all of it is just a little bit too much for someone that's kind of more normal, middle class kind of people. I just think it goes over a lot of people's head. I think that's what's going to end up happening. Obviously, the big thing of this movie is Jake, and it's hard imagining like they made a whole movie about this kid dealing with this really touchy subject, and he's only 4 years old. Like, we don't get to get into the insight of what Jake is really feeling or what he might end up dealing with, later in his life. As a 4 year old, I mean, who cares? I mean, and 4 years old, I mean, their favorite thing is their favorite thing. I mean, how are we supposed to know if that really is a transgender kind of a thing? I mean, it's just what they're into. I mean, it doesn't mean they're going to be fruity or anything. Uh, I think society shapes kids, and You can like football one year, and you can like, more like cheerleading as a sport because it looks competitive and everything the next year. So, I don't know. I just think this is a really weird way to approach making a movie about a 4-year old that's really, influenced by his parents being freaks, and anything could happen to him in his life. But this is such a big issue because he's so into playing, Disney princesses. And I don't understand why it's such a big deal. I think it's really overblown. The only thing that I kind of want to nitpick is that this movie is made with such weird camera angles. Like it's showing somebody's back talking to the person, and you're just staring at this person's back, and the other person is kind of fuzzy, but the person with their back to you is like saying things. And I just didn't like a lot of it. I really just I thought most of the camera work, they were going for like a feeling, and I could tell that, but I just didn't understand what they were doing. I just was like sitting there going, okay, why are we focused on this thing over here, and this thing over here is the really important thing? And I just don't know who shoots a movie like this and makes it intentional. So I don't really understand all the specifics of that stuff, but I just didn't like how this one was done. And it was a constant reminder of bad angles the whole time of the whole movie. So it was a very apparent thing. And the last thing is another like heavy subject, and it's just that like this mother of Jake, Claire Danes, she's her character is so much in denial that like it's hard to watch the movie with her in it, because like, as Claire Danes, I mean, we you kind of know that name. I mean, she's done some things and she knows how to act. And for her to play a character that's in denial of what's going on around her, you really got to be on your game to pull off a character like this, to pull off this role. I was sitting there not really buying a lot of things that were being said and done, and was calling her character stupid half the time because everything coming out of her mouth was stupid. And I just wanted her to figure the situation out. I mean, I just wanted to, jump into the movie and take her child away from her or slap her and say, hey, this is what's going on. Why are you saying the things you're saying? So whenever I feel like that about a movie, I just get lost because, it like you're watching a stupid movie, okay? And you tell the main character, you yell at your TV, don't do that. That's, that doesn't mean that we enjoy the movie. It just means that we're very much into the movie. We know what's going on, so we feel like we have to yell at the screen. And it's just so over analyzing things. I mean, this is such a weird movie, and I didn't write this down, but Jim Parsons, aka, you know, uh, Mr. TV sitcom, totally, Sheldon. I cannot buy him as a serious actor. I probably never will. I'm glad that he tries to do things, but the second he was in Muppets and some other funny things, and then he's Sheldon Cooper, I can't buy him as a serious actor. Like, he tried so hard in this movie to be a very boring, very non-involved psychiatrist father that just wants to get his kid, with whatever problems are going on. He's kind of in denial about the whole thing too. Uh, and that he just wants his kid to get into a private school and let the mother figure it out. And He comes home and he talks demeaning down to his wife, and he's a smart guy, but he can't pull off roles like this. He just can't. So I enjoyed most of the people that were in this movie and what they brought to it, and the fact that they really tried. But the movie was just so like hard to watch and hard to listen to. And the fact that everybody was talking about this 4-year-old and we didn't really get involved with Jake like hardly at all because he is supposed to be 4. And they didn't want to make that a prime part of the movie. So we had to see everything else going on around it and people arguing with each other and people taking each other the wrong way and getting offended and they're really best friends and it was just all so weird. It's just a mess of a movie, really. And so I'd say it's worth a watch because I enjoyed watching it and I was into the movie, if that makes any sense. But I just think it was a mess. And I think it could be overanalyzed as much as it overanalyzes itself. So I'm just going to give it a C. And if you feel like watching a kid like Jake and it comes across your ability to watch it, I'd say give it a watch. But I'm going to give it a C. I'm going to move on with my life. And I know all these people are going to be in other movies and they'll probably forget about this one. Hopefully I will. So thanks a lot, guys. My name's Danny. If you like this or my other video reviews, try and give some of them a watch. Like and subscribe to my channel if you would. And once again, enjoy your movies. Thanks.